So if you're not familiar with Simon Says Stamp, the shop carries a lot of brands like Tonic Studios, Gina K, Ranger, Alta New Prima, Copic, Sizzix, Tim Holtz. This is just a few to name that I am familiar with, but there are a lot more brands that he carries. It's a great website to get your hands on to something that is not available on Amazon, something that is just come out and new. You can buy it on Simon Says Stamp very quickly. Okay, so like I said, these are the new release, and I am so happy I could get them because I just had to have them once I saw Tim Holtz show them, and that just had to happen immediately. And it was also one of those days that it was retail therapy. I wasn't feeling great, and I didn't even have energy to get upstairs to my studio and start doing some painting or something. And I just thought, let me just watch these new product release videos from Tim Holtz, and I just lit up and yeah, ordered these. Okay, so first of all, what I have here is his new, they all are new. So this is the Thinlits. They all are Thinlits die cut sets. So in fact 1 2 3 no 1 2 3 4 5. There are 5, and I don't think this is a new one. I think this is one of his older ones. But yeah, so the 5 are from his new release. Okay, so I've got this set which is called Cut Out Blossoms, and Tim Holtz came up with the idea of cutting out the negative space rather than this sort of thing. So the die cuts look like this, and because they also updated the packaging, you'll see compared to his previous ones. So it looked like this. So it had that sort of vintage brown look. Now it's more modern. It has the black and the white look to it, and also you can see exactly how the die cuts look, and then here what the cutout or the finished product looks next to it. So you get these 3 beautiful flowers that look like peonies, and I had to have them. There was no question about it, because Tim Holtz is a very interesting character where he comes out with the most beautiful things, and sometimes you don't expect it from him because he's into grunge and, you know, the sort of trickery with the clocks and the top hats and all of that, which is really not my thing. But then he comes out with something as gorgeous as this, which no one else does, and I admire him for that. What you can do as well, so the idea is that you take a piece of paper and then you have this negative cut out. Okay, so it's like part of the paper. However, you can still cut around these to create a nice die cut that you are familiar with. All you need to do is either cut it out of the finished piece of paper, or what I would probably do is take one of those die cuts and with a pencil quickly line out the shape of the flower, and then I would cut out around it, leaving enough space so that you don't touch these, right? And then that way you would also be able to have a regular die cut and the sort of positive and the negative. So you do have 2 options with these, and just look how gorgeous these look. They are stunning. Okay, so that's one. Next one, let's stick with the flowers. So the next 2, I ordered the new flower sets that he came out with, and they're called the Wildflower Stamps 2 and 1. So this is 1 and this is 2. So these are larger than his original wildflowers, which I've got here. So let's see, so this is 1, and you can see hopefully that they're quite a bit smaller than these. So here I've got a flower. So this one would be at this size. And then you get these which are larger like that. So he came out with them to use as a conjunction with the small ones, so you can mix and match, and you could have like bigger flowers combined with the smaller ones, or what you could do is use the larger ones for large projects. Now they're not huge, so they're still a nice size. However, what I thought they would look great as, if you die cut them on watercolor paper and then delicately watercolor the flower to look like a dried pressed real flower, and I think that would look so gorgeous because they're so thin. They look like pressed flowers. So that's what I want to try do with this. I think that would look really, really pretty in a journal page. So I got these, and then he came up with something quite new, and I'm super excited about these. So these are called Geo Springtime, and they're the geometrical shapes which I at the moment just absolutely am obsessed with. It has become a trend in decor, and I love this type of look. So when Tim Holtz is the first to create a geometric shape die cut and they're as gorgeous as that, of course I had to make sure I get them. So you get bunny, bird and a butterfly, and I think they will look stunning. So the size of them is a good size. They're not teeny tiny. So you would get slightly bigger than this. You would get a good die cut. Right, so this one was a bit of a funny one because at first I thought when he pulled it out, I kind of thought, what is this? I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't look that great. However, it is pretty cool. So it's called Faceted Heart. So you cut out a shape which has lines that cut the paper as well as just lining the paper, so you can crease it, and you can create a heart, a geometric heart, which is dimensional. So it pops out, so it's on the back, it's flat, and then here it pops out, and that's the gorgeousness about it. The fact that you also get two sizes, a medium and a small, I thought is just gorgeous. So the medium one, the whole die cut takes the space in the pocket, and I think when he was demoing it, it looked like this, and then the small one looked like that, from what I can remember. So yeah, very, very excited about this. You also can distress them to make them look grungy, or you can make you can cut them out of like metallic kind of gold paper and create some really lovely things with sort of one of those flowers sticking out of them, and put it into a frame and take the glass out, so it will look just like dimensional piece of art. They looked pretty cool. So yes, really happy I got that. The final I got is, like I said, I don't think this is from his new release, but I wanted to get, and I actually didn't know that they existed until very recently. It's the alphabet, and this particular one is called Alphanumeric, 3/4 inch tall. So this is the perfect size. So hopefully you can see, so like that. I didn't want anything too big. I wanted something that I could cut out and they wouldn't be too tiny either. So I wanted a nice medium size to use in to like, you know, write with, because I tell you why. I'll show you something in a minute. Okay, so I decided to grab my alpha and just show you. So for example, these alphas, you can buy them and they're usually created by thickers, so they are a little bit dimensional, and you can create words, and they come in all sorts of designs, and sometimes they are like puffy ones like these ones, and they come in a different font. sometimes they're smaller. Now obviously having different kind of fonts and all that is fun, but here is the problem that I encountered when doing scrapbooking or art journaling, is that not always do I find it easy to use a certain font. For example, something like this, it's just quite big, quite, you know, large. Sometimes it's the colors, so these gold and the pinks, you know, it's something that requires a specific tone of the layout that you're doing. Or these are gorgeous, but again, they're very chunky. That's one problem that I encountered, is the difference in the style of the Alpha. The other problem you very often encounter is that you use up certain letters more than others. You end up throwing out a lot of letters that you can't use because you can't build a sentence or even a word, and that's my issue. So I thought, if I get a font which I really like, this is nice, basic, good old font that I won't need to, you know, think much about how to use it, and then just cut it out of the paper that I like. Obviously it won't be as dimensional, but again, the dimensional sometimes is a problem for me, or quite often is actually a problem for me, because I would like to use those stickers, Alpha stickers in my journals, but they're just way too dimensional. So cutting them out of different paper, and obviously if you have nice, let me just show you. So here's one example. This is the Maggie Holmes Flourish collection. If you have a nice little paper pad, you can then cut out all sorts of, you know, letters. For example, something like that, when it's a little bit too dark to use as it is, I would totally be able to cut out letters because they can be a bit darker. Do you see what I mean? And they would have lovely floral patterns and all that. So you then have this a multitude of different, you could cut it out of that, like black paper. I know for sure I wouldn't use that in my layout. However, as Alpha, that would be pretty cool with a bit of white camera shapes in there, so you couldn't really figure out what it is. But yeah, you just have a multitude of different choices, and how pretty would it be out of this paper, and kind of then make it sort of like a rainbow effect, you know. So you can do loads of things with it, and like I said, I'm really looking forward to it. One thing that I didn't realize is that there are actually 121 dies in this set. So you would think, why so many? Now on the top here, it shows you that you can get different letters in different numbers. For example, you get an I and E 7 times. A you get 5 times, B you get 2 times. So that's just amazing, because it means I can actually cut out the whole word in one go. So if I needed the A couple of times, I don't need to cut it out in, you know, a few times. I just lay it out, and so it gives you loads and loads of these letters. You also get numbers, which are perfect because they're the exact same style. Sometimes I find that the numbers don't look fitting to the actual Alpha in the Alpha stickers, so it just all works perfect. And you even have quite a few signs as well. So very, very happy with this set, and it's, like I said, it's a perfect size. So that's my little haul. And then as I was finishing the order, something popped up which I actually wanted to try. So this is the Gina K Designs. It's called Connect Glue, and it's supposed to glue paper, cardstock and embellishments. And it says here, goes on white and dries clear. Now, whether it dries glossy or matte, I don't know. My guess would be that it dries glossy. So here is the thing. If you like matte, then this is your friend right here. However, I find that once you use up a bit of the product and you sort of halfway almost through, it's quite hard to squeeze it out. and when it comes out in a little dot, and not always is it easy to glue something like that. I mean, it's still easier than from a big bottle or something like that. However, this, the nozzle seems a lot more finer. Oh, I've got some glue on my finger. So I would assume, let me just see if I can get some of this glue. Yeah, so there you go. The glue consistency and the nozzle literally allows you to make this finest little line. Can you see that here? So that's why I got this glue, because you really need a tiny little bit, but sometimes it's hard to get that fine with this glue, and you know, it's just perfect, this one. So that's why I wanted to give it a go, and I'm happy I did. So the multimedia mat is a little bit thick or thicker compared to that, and let me just show you. For example, if I wanted to do this area here, I just won't be able to do it as finely, so it comes out much thicker. There you go, you can see it comes out in these sort of blobs like that compared to the Gina K. So if you are looking for a glue for something as fine as these die cuts to glue, then that's where I would really suggest you look. Okay, so that is it for today. I hope you found this quite useful. I want this video to come out to you very quickly, so I'll probably try to edit it today, and hopefully if you like these things and you're like me and you don't want to miss the opportunity of having these items sold out, then you might want to go to that website and check it out. All right, thanks for watching and see you soon.